Hello, Maniacs. This is Tobias from Vomitory, and you're listening to the Dan Shen Show.
So I've got to buy some Swedish death metalers Vomitory on the show right now. How the hell are you, my friend?
I'm doing good, thank you. Looking forward to this weekend when we're doing our first abroad show since we released a new album, which will be in Germany and in Czech Republic.
So, awesome. Well, we'll get into that. I want to start off by talking about the new album. It's an awesome album. You've just released All Heads Are Gonna Roll. How good was it to get that album out?
Very good.
What an album. What an album. It's brilliant.
Thank you. Well, yeah, we are really happy with how it turned out. So I think we couldn't ask for more, really. Yeah, songs are great, and production is super as well. And apparently the fans like it.
Well, that's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say to you. I mean, how have the reviews and the opinions been like? I mean, do you go and check them out, or are you one of those kind of people that distance yourself, or do you like to use it as like a test to see if you've done things right?
Well, it's always nice to see the reviews and so on. I don't look too much or even look for reviews, but the ones that I have seen so far have been like 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. Yeah. So yeah, it's and also the fans and the feedback we got from fans and on social media and everywhere. It's actually been overwhelming. We didn't really expect this huge impact that it.
I mean, why do you think it is that this time? This kind of the big, so many plaudits for this album. What's different? What's evolved since the start with you guys?
Well, not much, I would say, other than that we have actually returned now for real. We did a temporary. The band split up in 2013, as most of you know. But then for a specific reason, we did a one-off reunion show at Summer Breeze in Germany in 2017. Yeah, and that kind of started it all, I think, because we enjoyed playing together again, and that show was so great. We said that maybe we should get together and just play some live shows. Don't write any new music or don't focus on albums or such things. Yeah. So in 2019, we got together to just only to play live to celebrate the 30th anniversary of the band. And it was a great year. It was very successful. We played a lot of shows in countries we've never visited before, and we also decided to extend this temporary reunion, which it was. The plan was to do these live shows in 2019 and then take the band back to the grave again. Yeah. So we were planning to do some more shows during 2020. We did like 5 shows, and then the pandemic came. Mm-hmm. So everything got put on hold, and we still had shows booked, and which got either canceled or postponed, and postponed again. So
do you think that maybe the pandemic helped you sort of like, because you're in the middle of doing like shows, you thought, right, let's go back to the studio? Is that how it worked?
Yeah, I think it was. Well, sure, we had been talking about it, just nothing serious, but like, wouldn't it be nice to make another album? Well, yeah, maybe, but we just left it at that. But then when the pandemic came, because we were still waiting to do 30th anniversary shows, but it kind of sucks to do 30th anniversary shows when it's been 33 years.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
So during the pandemic, I think that helped us to make this decision that, why not do something good about it? And since we we enjoyed playing, and we had some ideas and so on. So why not make another album?
Awesome.
And
And that leads me
yeah,
straight into this question. How do you guys like to write and record? Or are you quite the traditionalist, or do you adopt new techniques and write and record remotely, or do you get together in a room? How does it work?
well, we usually write by ourselves, and we almost never do anything together in the room.
Yeah.
So everyone is writing, not everyone, but the people who write in the
Yeah.
band
Yeah.
do it by themselves, and finish a whole song, more or less, before presenting it to the rest of the band.
Yeah.
What differed this time was that me and Eric worked a lot more closely together. We were pitching ideas and so on, more uh, before we finished the song.
Yeah.
Like during the process of one song, we communicated a lot more,
Yeah.
in terms of arrangements and blah blah blah, and where how the vocals should be on this part, on that part,
Yeah.
and so on. So, and I think that was a very successful way of working, because it felt instantly very good when we did like this. And it's weird that we haven't done it before.
Yeah. Really.
To the same extent. Well, of
Wow.
course we communicate when during writing an album, but we did it a lot more this time, and yeah, it was a very good way for us to work, I think.
Do you think that's how you'll carry on going forward? If, dare I say, you move forward, you don't have another hiatus or go back to retirement?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
uh, I think so. And the plan is to um, not just release this new album, but when we made the decision to make this album, we also decided that it won't be just one more album, but we want to make more albums, at
That's
least
great.
two, maybe three, maybe four. I don't know,
That's great.
but not just this one.
Because you all got so many other things going on, haven't you? Your other projects, your other bands. You already call it a project, or would you call them other bands? What would you say?
Um, well, bands,
Yeah.
I would say, but I've actually I've quit most of the other bands.
Right. Okay. So it's
So
Vomitory is like
it's
full
only,
time.
yeah, it's only Vomitory right now.
That's good.
Well, me and Eric, when we disbanded Vomitory, me and Eric went on together and started a new band called Cut Up.
Cut up. Yeah. Cut up.
Yeah, but that band still exists, but it's put on hold
That's
for
on a
now.
hiatus now.
Yes, yes.
So talking
Since
about Eric,
we
talking about Eric, do you know how Eric likes to write his lyrics? Does he ever come to the table and bring the lyrics and you guys are like, whoa, you cannot get any darker than that? And has he ever written anything that's made you feel uncomfortable, or you laugh it off tongue in cheek? How does that go? Because it goes as far as it can go in death metal, can't it? I mean, it's pretty extreme.
Yeah, it's pretty extreme, and well, I think you already said it there. It's a lot, tongue in cheek.
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, but yeah, sometimes it's really, really. Uh,
Has
uh,
he ever done anything where you've come in, you just burst out laughing because it's that ridiculous?
um, yeah, probably.
Because I remember speaking to Cattle a few weeks ago, and they said exactly the same thing. It's like, how far can you go with how stupid and, crazy the lyrics can get? And especially now at
Yeah,
our age, when we've all grown up with death metal and stuff like that, but then we're getting to our mid 40s, late 40s, and then we're like looking at lyrics going, Christ, we're like kids again.
yeah, yeah.
So carrying on that theme of grotesqueness, I mean, the artwork is very cool. I mean, who came up with the concept with that? Do you let an artist work with that? I mean, I noticed a throwback of your old logo on this character's jacket with all these heads on the ground. Who did that for you? Do you have much say?
The artwork is made by Giannis Narcos of Remedy Art Design, a Greek guy.
Yeah.
And I think the concept, that was Eric's idea.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was Eric's idea. And we sent some pictures to Giannis for a reference. It was mostly like artworks and posters for horror
Horror
movies
films. Yeah.
and so on. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, well, yeah, and it turned out great, I think.
It's really cool. I'm looking forward to seeing that on a t-shirt. You must have t-shirts made of that.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
do.
very awesome. Awesome. So talking about t-shirts and merch, what's happening live wise? You said you've got gigs coming up, your first ones to support the album this weekend in Germany and Czech Republic. So what's happening for the rest of the year, maybe the whole cycle of this album?
We have a couple of more festivals during the summer. We're playing in the Netherlands and Belgium and Finland and Switzerland. And then in September, as it looks now, we're doing a European tour for about 4 weeks. It's not been announced yet.
I was going to say, I've not seen anything, so that's something to look forward to then.
Yes, it should be announced any day, I think. I hope so, at least.
Is that headlining? Is that headlining shows?
No, we're supporting a bigger act.
A band. You can't say anything. No exclusives.
No, not yet. Not yet. I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem. No problem.
So,
and anything else? So that's going to be. Will that be this year, or is that a pen for next year?
Yeah, it's this year, and after that, the European tour in September and October, we are going to Mexico, play at Mexico Metal Fest in November.
Great.
And we're also working on getting some more dates over there, maybe in Mexico, maybe in also Colombia.
Yeah.
During that weekend, and we're also going to Asia, it seems, also in November and the first days of December, and then we will end this year in Eindhoven in the Netherlands.
Yeah,
Eindhoven Metal Meeting. That will be our last show for this year. But we're already planning for next year as well.
Lots going on. That's good.
Yeah.
Now, as a drummer myself, I always ask drummers when I have them on the show, like yourself, how do you approach live drumming? We're all getting a bit older. Those beats don't get any slower. How do you approach playing drums live, or as opposed to being in the studio? How do you do it? Do you have some kind of like rituals? How do you keep fit? What is it for you?
No rituals, but the older I get, the more important the warm up procedure gets.
Right. Okay.
So it's more. I need to spend at least 30 minutes, just warming up my wrists and especially my wrists and fingers. Also, do some stretching my legs and feet. Maybe whatever, run up and down the stairs or whatever to get the blood flowing.
I used to do a lot of press ups. I don't know why, whether it's just because I wanted to show my guns off on stage, but I did a lot of press ups to get going.
Yeah, but that's I do that too occasionally.
Cool. So talk about drumming. Who've been your heroes over the years? Maybe from as a child, what got you into music? Why did you choose drums? I've got to ask these questions as a drummer myself. So this is a bit of me finding a little bit more about you and your drumming. So who were your heroes? What music got you into metal? Let's go a bit down that route.
As far as I can remember, I was always attracted to drums and as the instrument and the drummers. When I saw them on TV, I always thought they looked cool and so on. So I always wanted to be a drummer. So, I was drawing drum kits long before I even had a pair of sticks.
Yeah.
So, I got into, rock at a very early age, but, heavy metal and the good stuff was in let's see, 82, I think, with the Saxon Accept and Iron Maiden. I think Saxon and Accept were the first bands, and of course, I got in contact with them through my brother Urban, who is the guitarist in Vomitory.
Yeah.
He's older than me, so he and his friends brought the records, and I was of course blown away by it because it
Yeah.
was great. And then, but then when I heard Iron Maiden the first time, that was they have been my favorite band ever since. And first album I heard was Killers,
Yeah.
and after that there was The Number of the Beast, and so it shouldn't come as a surprise that my first drum
Yeah.
heroes were Clive Burr and
Yeah.
later also Nico McBrain, of course. But then all the bands that I listened to during the 80s, Filthy Animal Taylor of Motorhead, Mickey
Yeah.
D, the stuff he did with King Diamond was absolutely mind blowing, I think, and also with Motorhead, of course, later.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But also Stefan Kaufmann of Accept, great
Yeah.
drummer. Chris Witchhunter of Sodom, Dave Lombardo, Slayer.
Yeah, my favorite.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you've been playing, music since 1989. Have you heard any crazy stories about the band, or over the last 30 years? Did you piss anyone off, or is there any funny stories you've got from that, or maybe some funny tour stories? Is there any anecdotes?
I don't know if we are too nice, so there are no weird stories about us, I think. I don't know. I think you have to ask someone else about that.
Sure.
Sure. On tours, there's always crazy stuff happening every now and then. If someone gets left on a bus during loadout in the middle of Dublin, for instance, we had to park outside the venue, and it was no traffic allowed there, and the tour manager was screaming and yelling, "Everybody out, we have to unload now." And the cops were there and so on. And is everybody out of the bus? Yes. I wasn't off. I was still asleep in my bunk. So, and hungover as hell, of course. So when I woke up, I was somewhere in the outskirts of, not in the outskirts, but in the outer part of the city of Dublin. So I think I had a cell phone at that time. This was in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
So I called someone. So some poor promoter guy came there by foot and to get me there. So we had to walk, and I had to carry my bag, and it was hot like hell. Walk to the venue. So I was a bit pissed on my bandmates.
Yeah.
Like, haven't you missed me?
Well, at least you made the sound check though, right?
I can't remember. I think so.
So
anyway, that was a absolutely brilliant show in Dublin, because I remember when we were supporting Cannibal Corpse on that tour, and I was sitting in the merch when Cannibal were playing, and they were carrying out bleeding people from the concert hall.
Yeah, I can believe it.
So that was awesome.
I can believe it. Saw them recently, actually, here in Barcelona. Now, obviously, you've been in the industry since 1989. What are the good and bad things you've noticed of how the industry has changed since that time?
The good thing is that I think death metal, in the beginning, it was the industry people were not. I don't think they took death metal very seriously, because it was extreme, and it didn't sound like anything that they had heard before, and so on. But now, death metal has proved that it stands the test of time.
Absolutely,
and that it's becoming a respected art form, I think. And
do you think there's been a resurgence? Do you think there's been a massive death metal resurgence?
yeah, yeah, I think so.
I think so.
And it's great to see that musical instrument the companies they are also
Supportive.
they are very supportive and like a very recent example that Pearl Drums have developed a new pedal together with George from Nile,
Yeah.
which is that's I think that's pretty cool that they instead of using the old geezers,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you know the household big drummer names,
Yeah.
but going with the big death metal names instead
Okay.
to create and develop a good product
Well, that's
for
interesting.
this.
I mean, that's interesting. You saying that. I mean, how do you feel as a drummer that drumming technology has changed to make our lives better and easier? How do you think to that?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's really cool. I'm just happy for it. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I was just going back to your what you grew up with. If you could have performed on any album throughout time, which album would you want to have performed on?
Oh,
You're gonna say Killers or something like that.
well, but isn't that a stupid question? I could say I could say any Iron Maiden album or
Yeah.
any Motorhead or I don't know. Um, but I wouldn't say Iron Maiden because then the brilliant drumming on those albums would not be as brilliant.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Do you find time to check out new music? Do you listen to new bands? Is there any new bands that maybe you can share with us that we should check out if we don't know them?
Yeah, I try to, but it's difficult. But yeah, when I come across something new, that I like, I'm happy. But uh, many times it's not a new band, but
Yeah,
new to me. Maybe it's a band that's been around for 30 years or something that
yeah,
I
it's
haven't
new. Yeah,
really cared too much about before. But um, there is a new band though, which is pretty new. It's a Canadian duo called Crownlands,
right,
but they're not death metal and they're not even metal. It's more. I'm a big fan of Rush,
right.
so
Okay.
they definitely appeal to me. They are they sound there's a lot of Rush influences there,
Right. Okay. Okay.
especially the 70s style Rush. So yeah, Crownlands,
One to listen
great
to.
band.
What about new albums from established acts? Is there any new albums that you're listening to?
Um,
What is the new Metallica album?
I haven't listened to it.
You haven't listened to it.
No,
Why?
they don't interest. No, because they're not interesting anymore.
But just out of a fascination, like what are they doing? I mean, I didn't listen to Lulu definitely, but I still would listen. I still would listen to anything they bring out because when I first heard the album, I was like, nah, not sure. But then
well,
growing on
well,
me,
I'm going to. I actually kind of liked the first this what do you call it? Lux Eterna. That
yeah,
single, that song. That's pretty good.
yeah,
For being a Metallica,
yeah,
you always have to think that because I think the first four albums are absolutely top notch. I mean, Master
of
of
course,
Puppets is one of the best metal albums ever
of all
made.
time. Of course, it is. Yeah,
Yes, and even Ride the Lightning.
mm, mm, mm,
But
mm.
then I think also think the Black album is it's okay. It's a good album, but that's when things
Yeah, of
started to
course.
happen, and
Yeah, I know.
the stuff they did after that, it's not the same band.
No, it's
But
not.
well,
No.
of course they are still like the biggest metal band in the world, so
Mm,
they're doing something right, I guess.
exactly.
But
Exactly.
it's not for me, and I'm not. I'm going to listen to the new
Yeah.
Metallica album,
Yeah.
but
You
I'm
need
not
to.
in a hurry.
No, I
you know.
understand. No, I understand. So talking about the best stuff, Which one Vomitory track sums the band up the best, do you think? You know, it's not an easy one to answer, just one track. I'm going to play it next. So what one track do you think encapsulates everything that the band stands for?
Oh, that's a tough one. But
Always is.
I think that Under Clouds of Blood from the album
Yeah.
Revelation Nausea is a very good contender.
Yeah. Okay. That's coming up right next. So finally, any messages for the new and old fans?
Well, a big, massive thank you to everyone who support us and have shown your love and support for the new album. It's great to see that we actually, that we still have such dedicated and cool fans that that they are really, how do you say it? Really. Never mind.
Yeah. No, it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah,
well,
but I'm very grateful for them, and I'm very happy that they like the new album, and we as a band cannot wait to go out and play the new stuff for you.
Awesome. Well, cheers, Tobias. Thanks for joining me on the show tonight. Good luck with the awesome release and the future tours and the tours that you're going to announce soon. We're looking forward to seeing you on the road.
Yeah, thank you very much. Nice talking to you.